Hi and welcome to my Random Ruminations. The other night while I couldn't sleep, I was on YouTube watching a video, imagine that, and in the comment section I came across a conversation that had nothing to do with the video. The video was like a Minecraft video. As far as I can remember, it was one of the Oxcasts, but in the middle of this thread was a discussion about how the creators of the Big Bang Theory had betrayed geeks by the way that their characters are now just whipped shadows of what they were. And I have to say, bullshit. You see, if you were born, if you were within maybe 10 years of me, you'll remember a time when sitcoms would often have this thing called character growth. This is where the character grows with the time span of the series. So, say if you have a child character who starts the series as an 11-year-old, by the end of maybe a 10-year run, they're in their 20s, and their character reflects that they're in their 20s. Still the same character, but they have grown throughout that time. Look at the Big Bang Theory. 7 years old, I think, at this point. And when it started, the characters were primarily stereotypes. Sheldon, Raj, Leonard, and Howard were stereotypes of what it meant to be a geek. They were each different stereotypes. I mean, Raj was the geeky, somewhat exotic foreigner, and Howard was the geeky Jew who lived with his mother, and Sheldon was just the totally barely functioning geek, and of course you had Leonard, who was kind of the everyman geek. And then you had Penny, who was a stereotype of a blonde girl from Nebraska who wants to be an actor. They were all stereotypes. Well, over the 7-year run, it's gotten away from that. They are still stereotypes to a degree, yes, but they've grown. It's character growth. Leonard is 7 years older. Or is it 6? I think it's 7. Well, anyway, when we first met Leonard, you couldn't imagine him asking someone to marry him. By the time the last season I watched ended, I think he'd asked Penny to marry him like 3 times. And he'd said yes when Penny asked him. You know, that's a lot of character growth. Sheldon had gone from being utterly unbearable to having a relative, for him, a mature adult relationship. It's called character growth. It's called growing the character with the series. They're still geeks. Just look at their jobs. Look at their hobbies. Look at how enthusiastic they are about their hobbies. Look at the things that they enjoy. Even in the last couple of episodes, there was one particular episode where they spent the whole episode trying to find a way in which Indiana Jones was still relevant to the story of the Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's a really geeky thing to do. They still play board games. They still play board games that even board game players would find kind of, really, seriously. They still collect, but what they've done is they've allowed these characters to become mature reflections of themselves. Adults. Real adults. And that's the thing. Even geeks grow up in the end. So no, the writers have not betrayed their geek fans and their non-geek fans and their fans in general and geekdom in general by allowing their characters to grow in time and with time. They're trying to make these characters more real. The first season of the series was nothing but stereotypes, because that's how they managed to sell the show to studio executives. That's why it was like that. Was it ever geek blackface? No. Just no. I'm not even going to start getting into how offensive to people who aren't geeks using the phrase geek blackface is. All I will say, it is one of the most repulsive, racist things that was ever foisted on people of colour. Seriously? You have somewhat equal rights, but you're not good enough to play someone of your own colour on movies, television, or the stage? how dare anyone say that poking fun at geeks is blackface for geeks? I mean, my God, how offensive to people of colour, and how offensive to just... That's not even offensive to geeks. That's offensive to the people that blackface was used to be racist towards. And you cannot compare racism to... Well, you can, but it's a false comparison of racism to geekery. To people making fun of you for being a geek. Yeah, it can be unpleasant, or at least it was unpleasant until geeks became sexy. Thank you, The Big Bang Theory. Anyway, my point with this originally was, people, especially guys, stop being offended that The Big Bang Theory has allowed its characters to grow. Someday you'll grow up too. I know I did, and it was a really horrible surprise. Anyway, I am going to go buy wire to make chainmail and get my Xbox Gold for the next year, and yay, having a little bit of surprise cash. So I will talk to you again tomorrow. And I'm actually thinking I'm going to try and get up a 5-minute vlog every day. Anyway, see how long that lasts for. Talk to you soon. Bye.